We are gathered here today to witness the union between Joyce and Scott and to celebrate the love between them that has brought us all together. In the chaos that is life, you somehow found each other. Who could have seen that your mutual passion for gems would be the common thread to bring you together? Who could have guessed that Scott miraculously overcame a gluten allergy just to eat dumplings with you?
I didn't know that. That's actually pretty impressive. I didn't know.
And Joyce, who could have known that the same person who keeps you grounded and truly understands you also helped you design gems sold by Gucci? You two deserve each other, were meant for each other, and complete each other. It is an absolute honor to be up here with you today. Joyce, just as you welcomed me into my first phase of life all those years ago, I'm lucky enough now to welcome you, together with Scott, into the next phase of your lives. I wish you both the very best, and I'm excited for the lifetime of happiness you have ahead.
Joyce and I met in high school, and that was a really awkward time. For me, at least. Joyce has always been really cool and collected and calm, and she's always been the composed one. I'll give you a couple examples to illustrate this. Back then, she liked Rob Zombie. Yeah. I liked Nickelback. She had this really cool haircut with bangs and this pink streak, and she was like very talented, and she cut and colored it all herself, and it was really amazing. I barely brushed my hair as I ran to school. She seemed like she always knew what to say, and she definitely single-handedly got us through this huge chemistry project. So thank you, Joyce, for helping me not fail AP Chem. I was really supportive of her plan to go back into school to GIA to learn this new skill, but at the same time, I was wondering if she was giving up something stable for something unknown. Calculated risks, however, don't scare Joyce. And pretty soon, it was really obvious that there was no need to worry. Joyce can definitely succeed to whatever she puts her mind to. Joyce's passion, ambition, and talent has transformed her gem cutting from a hobby to an international successful business. It was the same passion for gems that eventually aligned her fate with Scott's. Yes. Her desire to improve and push the limits of her knowledge serendipitously led her to him. And there are two reasons I immediately knew Scott was different. First of all, when she first met Scott, she said she was a little nervous. If you know Joyce, you know that she doesn't get nervous, ever. Obviously, I told her she had nothing to worry about because if he saw what I saw in her, he would never leave her side. As an aside, for most of our friendship, Joyce has lived in San Diego. That's where I met her. That's where she went to elementary school, middle school, high school, college. And I thought the only way she would leave San Diego is if someone was dragging her out kicking and screaming. So the second reason I immediately knew Scott was different was she told me she was going to not only leave sunny San Diego, but she was going to move to Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh has real seasons. So I definitely should have started writing my maid of honor speech back then. So Scott is a perfect complement to Joyce. If Joyce is a BA5T lap, Scott is a Pandemonium 100K. If Joyce is a fine wine, Scott is a strong piece of cheese. If Joyce is Wonder Woman, Scott is whoever Wonder Woman married. When I spend time with them, it's obvious how much joy and caring there is between them. They both deserve the best, and they finally found it in each other. So I'd like to raise our glasses in a toast to them. Joyce and Scott, no matter what comes your way, may your combined understanding, patience, and generous love for each other make you an unstoppable team forever. Cheers!
I always knew I'd be standing here with him, you know, being married before me, because more so, he's just a better person than me. At the end of at the end of the day, he's a better person, not smarter. I will take that one to my grave. I will. But he's better. And you know what? Better doesn't mean. I honestly really don't know what better means. It means a little bit. Like, part of the fact was that whenever he went to on a random trip somewhere, my parents weren't worried about like the cops calling and saying, "Hey, your son's in jail." That kind of fell on me. I played the black sheep role, and he was although he was really good when he was younger about he made me look like the bad person. So I want to say I taught him how to get away with things. I didn't know I was teaching him at the time, but I did. So I taught him how to get away with some things, and that was all good and fun. And like I said, it all comes down to better. And at the end of the day, he's just, like I said, he's a better person than me. And I hadn't, I already knew that. And then he met Joyce, and he became an even better person. And I really never saw that coming. Like some of my family over here knows me. I'm more of a kind of loud, a little bit obnoxious, flamboyant, And it was just, it was just really humbling, and just coming out here, the whole experience, and seeing how much Dawn and Sue and how much y'all value family, which is something I've always valued it, but I never really felt, I didn't feel it that much till I came out here and I saw how much y'all did. And it's funny, I've been to California several times, and every single time I've left, I went back. Friends have asked, what do you think about California? I said, I love it. I love the hills. I love the weather. I love everything about it. But the people was always kind of and the back. I don't know if the background. There's a little bit of a redneck from North Carolina, but so it was always like the people. And honestly, after this trip, Dawn, Sue, I can say that I just love everything about California. I really do. It makes me happy. And seeing these two together, and just seeing, I've never seen, my brother's always actually been cool. He's never really got nervous. He was pretty nervous today. He was really pretty nervous. I was always the one with anxiety, but he did a good job, and I think he was so nervous just because of how much he loves you, Joyce. And I think that's that's important. That speaks to the whole thing. And like you told me last night, like this shit's permanent.
Joyce. The course of our lives was not our own. We were set in motion before we knew it. Our choices, our upbringing, our friends wove us together. You can call it fate or luck. All I know, there's no other future I could wish for. Sorry. I vow to love you with every ounce of my heart and soul, to keep you happy, healthy, and safe. Your passion for life is relentless. It's allowed you to pour your focus into every corner of our lives. Whether it's a lazy Sunday or the busiest day of our life, much like today. I promise I will cherish and honor every moment with you. If life becomes uneven, I will be the rock to tip the scales and balance us. Together, we'll be grounded. I promise to give you a life full of compassion, consistency, and honesty, to grow our love our gem collection, and with enough luck, our family. Joyce, I love you. I always will.
I love you too. Scott, when we first met, it felt like I had known you already for a very long time. There was a familiarity that can't be put into words, but recognized by the soul. A gentle spirit like you is hard to find these days, and I am so thankful the universe led us together. Now, your kind heart, warmth, generosity, and charming smile are just a few of the things I love about you. So many more, but there's 5 pages that you'll read afterwards. On top of all that, somehow, you're just as obsessed with rocks and gems as I am. I absolutely love nerding out with you about the chemical compositions of minerals, choosing rough stones in Tucson, and then cutting them with you right by my side. Every day that I wake up next to you is literally the best day of my life so far. And that is such a great gift in itself. I will always be there for you through the best times and the worst. I promise to cherish the small moments that can be overlooked sometimes, because every single moment with you is a blessing. Okay, I promise to continue telling you I love you 50 times a day or more, and to love you as my best friend, my husband, and my soulmate. And I promise to like you as my business partner.
That's fair.
You are the mirror of my soul, and together we will become the best versions of ourselves. I promise to love you unconditionally, to make you happy and feel loved every single day, as best as I can. We are the leaves of one branch, the flowers of one garden, and the drops of one ocean. I love you so much, and I can't wait to be your wife.
Does anyone find it even a little bit ironic as to how they met and why we're here in California? Because the way they met is like a script out of a Hollywood movie. No questions back there, okay? So it really was. It was like a storybook. You have a beautiful, beautiful, intelligent young girl, and she says, I want to pursue my dreams. I want to cut gemstones. And I'm willing to leave sunny San Diego and go to Pittsburgh, of all places, to meet this guy. And off she goes, and they fall in love. You know, when Scott was a little kid, he never had a lot to say. He was a very quiet, introverted kid. But I could always tell what was on his mind by the expressions in his face. His eyes would light up. He would get this Cheshire cat grin on his face whenever he was happy. Look at him now. Look at him now. And you just knew he was happier than can be. I remember when he was about this high, we would go for walks, and he'd hold my hand. It was so precious. And we'd be walking along, and he'd see a shiny stone. And he'd shake my hand free, and he'd grab it. And he'd say, Dad, can I keep it? And I'd say, yeah. I can't tell you how many shoe boxes of shiny stones I have at home. But, you know, he got a little taller, and he still had a fascination with rocks, but it turned to fossils. And we would go digging for fossils, and he'd find a fossil. And he'd look up at me with that face and say, Dad, can I keep it? And I'd say, sure, Scott. Yeah. You know, fast forward a few years, and one of my best friends, Bill Molzan, he said he had a camp in the Allegheny Mountains with rocks the size of this room that they were undercut. And he said, I bet Native Americans lived there. And he says, let's go dig there and see what we can find. And Scott said, take me. And the very first shovel out of the dirt was a Native American arrowhead. And you should have seen Scott light up. His face was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this. And so I'll fast forward to present day. Scott's about this tall, probably a little taller than me, maybe just because his hair's fluffy. And so, and so he says, Dad, I want to start cutting gemstones. And I said, gemstones? And I thought to myself, where in the world is this going? Gemstones. Little did I realize that his path and Joyce's path were about to collide in a very wonderful way. And so Scott invited Joyce out to cut gemstones, and being the gentleman that he is, he was showing around Western Pennsylvania, and he wound up at our house, but he didn't think I would be home. But I was. I snuck in there, and so I got to meet Joyce for the very first time. And she went back to California, and, Scott didn't say much at all. And I'm trying to coax things out of him, and I said, Scott, let's go out to dinner, and let's talk. And so we went out to dinner, and I said, so Scott, what did you think of Joyce? And I saw his eyes light up, and I saw that big grin on his face. And for one split second, I thought he was going to say, Dad, can I keep her? I know that's what he was thinking, and he didn't say it, but Scott, the answer is yes. I think you know that now. You can keep her, and she's the biggest gem you will ever find in your life. Without a doubt. And so, Scott, I think I can speak for all of us, Scott and Joyce. We wish that your life continues for a long, long time with happiness and joy. And as every page of your life unfolds, it's like that storybook ending where it's just happiness and joy. So a toast, please, to Scott and Joyce.
大家好，我的姑娘，my daughter, you're so beautiful tonight. You brought us joy. The very first moment you came to the world. Poetically, you're the fruit of our love with your mom. and you're the bond of our life. You know, I thought about this speech. By the way, I'll cut it in half, if you guys can bear that. You know, when you're dancing on my palm and giggling when you were 8 years old, or when you were 8 months old. You know, those memories were just vivid like yesterday. Look at you now. Look at you. You're so beautiful. You're smart. You're creative. You're so loving. It's just like the mother of bride here. But Joyce, you know, you found your passion. You found your true calling to be creative, to accomplish what you have done so far. 20,000 followers on Instagram. An innovative reward from AGTA. What can you say? But most importantly, you found your soulmate, Scott, along the way. Mommy and I just couldn't wait the beautiful life you guys are gonna create together. We're so happy for you.